All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome. Can you believe it's day 50? Let me give some hellos out here. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you guys being here. JDO, I appreciate that. Keeping it real for over 50 days. And Zinkster coming back. JDO, it has just begun. Sharon Emmett, God bless you. Nathan Wright, as you shout out, brother. How about a big shout out for Ted Link? Janine Catalano, welcome to you. Carolyn Cabin, welcome to you. Jeremy Teeple checking in from Ontario, Canada. Actually going to show a video of Trudeau in just a couple of minutes. Got that ready to go. Rick Berry, Boże, Berżu Ukrainu. Very good. Tonight, folks, we are going to have Zhenya with us. In fact, he and I just finished the record. So I'm not going to talk about that, but Zhenya will be with us. And I think I saw in the chat just a few minutes ago, somebody saying how they appreciated seeing the real-time footage from PG. How many of those same t-shirts do you have? A closet full, but keep them coming. And don't worry, my wife washes them most of the time. I'm just messing. Thank you. Rose Gentilini, God is good. Yes, welcome to you and Don. God bless you down there. Folks, for those of you that don't know that name, this family, they were missionaries into Eastern Europe during the time of the Soviet Union. So they understand a lot of the culture and mentality that we talk about in here and that we learn from. And yes, I would agree that the footage last night from Zhenya in the truck that was rented were before us. I'm glad this isn't smell-o-vision. Hey, it smells good up in this studio. I'm here to tell you. I'm glad we can smile through all of this and have a little good time together as well. All right, guys, here we go. Eric Wilson, I see you there. Appreciate that. We're going to get it going. I've got Zhenya coming up in just a couple of minutes, but, you know, day 50, who would have believed it? Honestly, when the day started, when the war started on February the 24th, this phase of the war, and I made that statement, I'm going to be live as long as the war's going on each night, because prior to that, twice a week or 3 times a week, live updates and news and all of those things. But this one's personal. So we're doing our part to be a part of this. Checking in from Knoxville. Welcome. Good evening, Bob Piccarilli. So I'm going to tell you why, though. Last night, if you were here for the program or you watched it later, you saw a guy typing in, he was actually typing in Russian to me, and I started speaking back to him. His name is Alexander, Sasha for short, and hey, bless you, Emmerichs. And he made these statements, and he was writing in Russian, but I was speaking to him, but I'll translate them for you. You know, thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for sharing the truth. Thank you for being consistent. And we love you. That's why we're doing this. Not only that, the world needs the truth. We're doing our part to be a part of this army, getting the truth out, as well as supporting this country that we love so much, not only with prayers, but our love, our support. As I told you, tomorrow they're watching. It's in the refugee centers. They share it. Just even the hearts, the comments, they see it. They see when you type the flag in or you put the heart in. It's just important. And of course, the finances that we have raised, which is absolutely amazing. In fact, I saw a commercial here locally in Western Pennsylvania that actually came out of Youngstown, Ohio, where great clips, and there's great clips everywhere the hair cutting place. And they actually said, thank you to our regional Great Clips here in the Metro Youngstown area and Western Pennsylvania. Over the last couple of months, we have raised over $50,000 to support what is going on in our world. And I thought that was awesome. Great Clips. So if you need a haircut, go get your haircut at Great Clips. But I'll tell you what, they're a major corporation and we've done more than Great Clips. How about that one? That's a shout out to all of you. We've raised over $80,000 and we are pushing for the hundo and it will happen. So folks, I want to get to it. I have Xenia coming up and this is going to be good. It's going to be a great night. And I think we're going to get a lot of it. If you saw the title of the program tonight, it is Fact or Fiction. Tonight, we're talking about fact or fiction. Of course, you see in the background there, the warship Moskva, and we will be talking about that in just a moment. One of the things that we need when we're trying to figure out what is going on in the war zone, especially in the Russian culture, in the Ukrainian culture, in the war of media and propaganda like our world has never seen before. We're there on the battlefield and we're not waiting for Walter Cronkite to tell us what is happening. But we actually, it's instant. I get live feeds, I get live streams, I get everything pretty much instant. And many times we're a day ahead of regular journalists. And that's really good. So, but with that said, we're still trying to make sure we give the facts out. So we're going to talk about the Moskva. I'm going to show you a couple of other things. And just be aware, as you're sharing this to your friends and your neighbors, you're liking, commenting, all of that stuff, we do our best to give the absolute facts. I'm going to give this little video clip tonight. This is an absolute fact. This happened today in the city of Kharkiv. This gentleman... maybe you've heard Xenia talking about that if you do not have the right documents, you can't leave, you can't do anything. Well, this is a resident of Kharkiv. All of his documents, all of his money, everything this man had was in his destroyed home. So he went to the roof of the building, climbed down a rope to get into his building. And while he's going into his apartment to retrieve his things, the walls are gone. Other walls begin to fall down. This is not hearsay. This happened in Kharkiv. And I thought we would start here tonight. You can see the guy, watch him coming down right from the roof. That's called desperation. When you have nothing else. He's now getting into that room. That's on the 7th. He's hard to see there, but he just turns around and looks at it. And then he goes about and gets his things. And I can tell you, the documentation was there with it. He's no problem. He got his stuff. He got his documents. He got his money. I think he even got his phone charger. That's called the Ukrainian spirit right there. And that's reality. Let's get to a map. That's not fiction, folks. That was a fact. Here's the map of what's going on, folks. I've been telling you, I think it was last night was the first night I told you about the 5-to-1 principle. And that is from the new general. The troops are still amassing. The attacks are happening. This is an updated map. You can even see in the bottom there in the Sea of Azov, where the explosions are there for the Moskva. We'll talk about that more in a while. You can see in Kryvyi Rog, where the Ukrainian forces are pushing back. You can see the actual lines. And if you see all of the red arrows, it's where the Russians are just pushing in more and more equipment. Just a few minutes ago, in fact, you will hear Zhenya and I talk about this in just a moment, but just a few minutes ago, the entire nation was under air raid signal. The entire nation was under air raid signal. Kyiv has been striking back. They're pushing back. They're fighting. They're doing a great job. There has been 2 or 3 skirmishes on the border towns in Russia. I'm not ready to say for a fact yet if it was Ukraine doing it or it was Russia doing it to their own place to create false flag events. I can't say that. Even Zhenya couldn't say it. We do not know. Either way, I mean, it's crazy if Russia's doing it. And if Ukraine's doing it, okay, well, Russia is attacking their sovereign territory. They can't reattack. So either way, there has been 3 places on Russian sovereign territory that has been shelled. I've got the video of it, and it's happening. But I won't even show you that. We've seen plenty of shelling over the last 50 days. But I'm going to show you the response of the general in Kyiv who is responsible for communications. I may have to play this for you twice. I have translated it, and you can see the translation in the bottom as we do. Remember, maybe Ukraine has hit a couple of Russian targets on Russian sovereign territory. Most likely, folks, Russians shelled themselves to create a false flag event. Regardless, this is the response from Moscow.
Попытки диверсий и нанесения ударов украинскими войсками по объектам на территории Российской Федерации. Если такие случаи продолжатся, то вооруженными силами Российской Федерации будут нанесены удары по центрам принятия решений, в том числе в Киеве, от чего российская армия до сих пор воздерживалась.
So we see that Ukraine is hitting Russian sovereign territory, and if they continue to do this, we will not refrain from hitting their operational centers, such as Kyiv. So I guess it's just okay for Russia to completely melt Ukraine and to try to raze it to the ground. But even if Ukraine has hit a couple of these border towns, now you're just going to go after Kyiv again and take out their informational and headquarters? Unfortunately, these are facts. We do not know who hit those border towns, but we do know that is what the spokesman in Moscow has said will be their response. A couple of shout outs today. On the left, you see one of our viewers from Texas. They have the Ukrainian flag flying in their yard. Back right corner, I even see the sign for the Golden Chicken. It's a pretty good combo there when you have the Ukrainian flag and the Golden Chicken within 100 yards of each other. On the right, viewers from San Jose, California, have their American flag flying and have their Ukrainian flag flying. Thank you guys for sharing your pictures. Folks, every time you send a picture, I always try to put it up because we are one big family here supporting the nation of Ukraine. Today, this is some of the humanitarian aid that was going out from our refugee centers, our shelters in Khmelnytsky. On the left, you see clean water. On the right, you actually see boxes of antiseptic and medicine. On the left, going to citizens. On the right, going to the Ukrainian military. Who purchased that? You did. Thank you very, very much. You're going to hear from Zhenya in just a moment. We just bought a truckload of stuff, but I won't mess the story up for him. Big shout out to the UAE. Everybody's always ripping on the United Arab Emirates or nations that are Muslim, but hey, I've been to the UAE. I've been to Dubai. I've got some wonderful friends there. There are some wonderful people there. And today, the United Arab Emirates sent 50 tons of humanitarian aid, every sphere, medical, food, you name it. They sent 50 tons. Oh, and they also sent them new ambulances. Big shout out and a big thank you to the United Arab Emirates. Awesome job. You know, one of the things that we're following is the food issue. And I see a lot of you guys in there talking back and forth how this war is continuing, day 50, it's just getting started, or we have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to talk about Finland in just a moment. Each day this goes on, you know. I even had some people ask me today when I was out and about, do you think this could ever go nuclear? Of course it could go nuclear. Absolutely. There's nuclear weapons there. Sure, it could go nuclear. We have madness happening in this world. Who would have ever thought we would have seen Mariupol razed to the ground and 100,000 people there being deported to Russia or starving to death or being executed while having white ribbons on their chest to mark that they are safe passage to Russia? Who would have ever thought it in the year 2022? Can it happen? Absolutely. But one thing for sure that is happening is right now, nations of the world that are dependent upon Ukrainian food and Russian food. Folks, I cannot express to you, and I know that a lot of viewers in this program are from the Midwest. We've got folks from Indiana in here, Missouri in here, Illinois in here, even Pennsylvania, of course, Ohio, Texas, folks, California. There are huge, I know, farming operations in America. You can go out into Iowa and ride for miles and miles and miles and see nothing but corn. I understand it. But let me tell you something. The same is in Ukraine and the same is in Russia. These are agricultural nations. They are very rich in their soil, in their natural resources, and they pump out a lot of food, not just for their own nation, but to feed the world. A lot of Asia and Africa, India is fed from Ukraine and Russia. And folks, it's not happening. Antonio Guterres came out from the UN and said the war in Ukraine could throw more than 1/5 of humanity into poverty, destitution, and hunger on a scale not seen in decades. He's right. But here's the deal I would like to say about that. Then get off your can and let's go in there and stop this war. How about that? Instead of sitting here looking at it and complaining about it, in fact, Jania and I are getting ready to speak about this. Get in there and do something about it. Let's end this. Putin must be defeated. Let me tell you, you want some fact? Here's fact. This is loot that is being taken from Ukraine. Russian soldiers return to Belarus. They ship it to their homes, and immediately it goes on the Russian internet to sale. It even says there, and it's underlined, you can't read it, but I'll read it for you. Taken during the special operation in Ukraine for sale. Here's my number. Folks, thousands and thousands of items have been looted and are for sale. Now, fact or fiction, Nadia Tucker, Sergei Shoigu had a massive heart attack. True or false? True. True. I've seen that confirmed today 4 or 5 times. But he's already been on the sideline sick. Shoigu's important, and here's her question. But let me tell you something. The dude that is the general now, the butcher of Syria, he's the one that's the problem, not Shoigu. And he is alive and well. This, my friends, was the Moskva. Tonight, I want to share with you about fact and fiction really quick. The Moskva was sunk. Now, Jania and I are getting ready to talk about this. Fact or fiction? This has been unfolding for 48 hours. When it started happening, the first thing that was reported that Ukrainian missiles, blew up this ship. In fact, this was the video sent out, folks, originally. And I'm going to tell you something. This video that I'm going to show you was shared on most news sites. This video right here. And that was supposedly the video of the Moskva being attacked. Folks, that was false reporting. The Moskva, that was not it. That was a practice ship from years ago that somebody started pushing out there. And the next thing you know, networks are picking it up. And here's video of the Moskva being hit by missiles from Ukraine. Here's the bottom line. We do not know that Ukraine hit it. We do not know if there was sabotage. We do not know if there was a Russian traitor. We do not know. Maybe an American submarine was under the earth doing something. We do not know. But here is what we do know. It's on the bottom of the Black Sea now. That's a fact. And let me tell you about that fact. Last night, I was going to talk about this, but I waited for one more day. You can go back and look at Pentagon. They released a statement late last night that said, yes, the Moskva has been attacked, but it's in the port in Sevastopol. Repairs are starting. Even the Pentagon got it wrong. The Pentagon got it wrong. It's how easy fact or fiction can fade. The ship sunk today when it was being towed back to Sevastopol. The damage was so bad, it took on too much water. Soldiers escaped. The Navy, they've already been off. They were towing it back in. But the fact is now, it and all of its armaments are sitting on the bottom of the Black Sea. Here's what you need to know. It's the #1 flagship. Now, that is not the entire Russian Navy. That picture you're seeing there is just the fleet that is on the Black Sea. So, yes, it is the best news that can happen. It's the flagship. It's the most powerful. It's the most tactical. And it's on the bottom of the Black Sea. They've got a lot of other boats in that Black Sea, but Ukraine is happy. This was a big surge today. No matter how it happened, whether Ukraine did hit it, whether it was sabotage, maybe it was MI6, maybe it was Russia themselves saying, hey, we got to stop doing this. Some good person on the ship said, I'm going to blow our munitions up. We don't know. But what we do know is it's on the bottom of the Black Sea. Russia today, this is Medvedev, the former president, warned of nuclear hypersonic deployment if Sweden and Finland join NATO. Sweden and Finland right now are on the fast track to join NATO fairly immediately. Two things happened today. I can already tell you for a fact that troops and equipment are being pushed to the Finnish border in that little cut-in that I showed you a couple of nights ago. Secondly, Finland responded today and they said, we have 280,000 of the strongest troops in the world ready to go. Don't do it. Folks, there's a lot of saber rattling going on right now. And even Janie and I were talking earlier. It only takes one mistake. It only takes one mistake. Yes, there's been some incursions into Poland. There's been some different things happen. We've got some beginnings of some chemical attacks. It only takes one thing to happen, and this thing really snowballs into a massive war. Fact or fiction? Here's some fiction for you. Out in ura.ru, which would be ura.ru, they are reporting that the United States is doing biological and chemical weapons testing and distribution in Kharkiv. And that is why Kharkiv is being destroyed. Secondly, this is actually slides from their propaganda department. Yes, I was able to get these. This is showing how the United States is working in Ukraine to develop chemical weapons that will destroy people through the waterways and through the water systems and biological weapons. And all it's doing is pumping propaganda against the United States. Now, I want to show you this. With all that propaganda going on, President Biden today may have stirred the pot even more. Actually, it's not may. He did. He just doesn't realize what he did. But I'll explain it to you. Listen very, very closely, and then I will tell you why this stirred the pot.
Will you send senior officials to Ukraine?
We're making that decision now. Thank you.
Who would you send?
What was the reason? You ready to go? Yeah.
Okay, now you've seen it the first time. Now I'm going to play it again. President Biden was getting on a plane today, and as he was, there was a reporter there who asked him, is the United States going to send a high-level representative to Kyiv to make a statement, to show solidarity with Ukraine? Is that going to happen? And then President Biden turns very rudely, in my opinion, and we're not talking politics in America, this is about Ukraine, but he asked a reporter, "Are you ready to go?" And the reporter, kudos to her, she asked President Biden back, "Well, are you ready to go?" And he said, yes. It has already hit all of the news in Ukraine. It's hit the news in Russia. It's hit the news in Europe that President Biden said he would go to Ukraine. I don't think that's going to happen. I think another representative will be sent. But I can tell you this, if President Biden were to go to Kyiv somehow, I don't think it's going to happen. We may send Blinken or somebody else there, but if he went there, you might as well take a fork and stick it in Vladimir Putin's eye, because it is going to make him so angry. And it's just going to push the propaganda and the media war to levels you've never seen before. So we will be watching that. Now listen again. I'll play it for
Will you
you.
send senior officials to Ukraine?
We're making that decision now. Thank you.
Who would you send?
What was the reason? You ready to go? Yeah.
You ready to go? Are you? Yeah. Be careful. You have to think. Sir, everybody in the world is watching you. Folks, here's a problem, and this is a big problem. I'm here to tell you. Germany's a problem. That is not a recent picture of Germany and of the president of Germany and Vladimir Putin together, but it's fairly recent, before the war started. Germany is dragging their feet so bad that it's really putting a strain on the European Union and the supplies of things that Ukraine needs. Many things came out today putting the pressure on Germany to step up. Folks, Germany is it's a powerful nation in Europe, and they really need to get involved with what is going on. Finally, I want to give you the Kremlin cycle of death and lies, and then I'm going to roll Zhenya in here. Kremlin cycle of death and lies. This is how it works. Fact or fiction? Have a little infinity symbol here, and if you start with number 1 and then you follow the symbol around, this is how it works in Russian culture. This is how it works. Number 1, look how great our military is. Number 1. Number 2, oh, it never happened. Number 3, they were Nazis anyway. Number 4, inner Western name, U.S., France, Britain. Remember, MI6 killed everybody in Bucha? Right, that's their strategy. Oh, MI6, they staged it. Number 5, what about a controversial topic? What about the bioweapons that the United States is doing in Kharkiv? Number 6, repeat. It is an endless cycle of propaganda and disinformation. That is why this war needs to stop with the defeat of Putin's regime. There's no way you now allow Mr. Putin to take his tanks and go home. He needs to be defeated. And not only do the Ukrainians that are under the assault of Russia need to be set free, but more importantly, and equally important, the Russian people who are under the regime of this dictator need to be set free. That's what it really boils down to. So, folks, that's the deal and the update for tonight. I'm getting ready now to roll into Zhenya, and then I'll come back to you. Zhenya and I were on literally minutes before I went live. He just got back. He has been up for 48 hours doing all of these runs. He will tell you all about it. This is a great chat we had, and this isn't live, but it's just right before I went live. Most likely he's listening as he's trying to fall asleep now. Folks, just a little while ago, Zhenya and I. All right, everybody, welcome tonight. It is day number 50, and this actually is just a few minutes before we're going live. Zhenya back home in Khmelnytsky after basically almost 2 days being on the road. April the 14th, 2022, day 50. No one would have imagined 50 days in a row we've been dealing with this. How you doing, bud?
Doing well. We have good results in the end. So
basically, you've been up with just little sleep here and there almost 2 days.
Yes, but there were no other options, let's say.
It's okay.
And yes.
Well, tell me.
We had yes.
Let's just start. We'll get everybody updated. Number one, how is your health and the health of your team that's serving there? How's everybody doing on the team?
We're
in day 50.
Probably, but everything is okay, and I'm okay. I'm doing well, so no any problem with the health.
Okay. So basically, we've had a couple of updates from you each night. Real quick, you were in a truck or you were at the border. This last trip, you went to the border, and you and Andre, you guys were there picking up supplies that were donated from Portugal, I think.
Yes,
Okay.
from Dasha.
Now, are we able to actually talk about where you went or no?
We were on the territory of Poland
Okay.
to get this humanitarian aid, and for that we had to go through a special process to get a special permission through the special system. We have a special system in Ukraine for this. I mean, at this time, and with a special guarantee, our administration, let's say city military administration, checking and gives, for example, the permission to leave, and the special corridor, like this time.
The bottom line is you are in your 40s and basically you can't leave the country. You're of the
Yes.
serving age, and made some special processes to get where you guys needed to go in Poland, pick up the supplies.
Mhm.
And as I understood, we have humanitarian supplies. Were there also some supplies in this one for the soldiers?
It was like, let's say, mix.
Mix. Okay.
And it was mix. There were medicine, which mostly will go for soldiers,
Okay.
and I think I will send you a special update about that trip,
Okay.
and some media, especially for you.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate it. And, we appreciate, of course, it works out well for you anyway if you're up in the middle of the night, but for people to be able to see, like last night, what the roads were like, what the environment's like, it's good because people can actually see it. It's not something they'll ever experience or have experienced, but they're experiencing it through us each evening. Now, tomorrow, Friday, then we're into the weekend. Any special plans coming up this weekend, or will you be in Khmelnytsky serving?
I'll be in Khmelnytsky serving.
Okay.
It's for sure. No leaving next few days.
Well, on that
For sure.
leaving thing, the bottom line is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you're caught illegally leaving Ukraine now and you're in the age group to be serving, which you are, which is not
And-
only military, it's also reconstruction. Like they're having some guys
Yes.
service age go and clean up places that have already been destroyed. But if that's not what you want to do and you try to escape and you come back, I think it's a prison sentence.
Yes, it was with the time of being in prison from 4 up to 7 years for leaving country legally, or yes, let's say like this, not coming back.
I think we'll stay in the country.
Yeah, I think it's wise.
Yes. Well, tonight I'm talking about fact or fiction, and I think that one of the things that people appreciate about us each night giving an update is we really wait for the facts before we update folks. And for example, here's a good example. I'll show a picture here in a few minutes of the flagship Moskva from the Russian Navy. Their best ship is sitting on the bottom of the Black Sea. It sunk. But everybody yesterday going crazy that, okay, it's already sunk. These missiles hit it. No, there was a fire. Then there was an explosion. And then earlier today, and I had this prepared, the United States Pentagon put out a release that said the ship had been towed back and was in Sevastopol being repaired. That was the United States. Well, even that was wrong, because what happened is it doesn't matter if a cruise missile hit it from Ukraine. I hope so. It doesn't matter if they made a mistake and their ship blew up. It doesn't matter if it was sabotage. It doesn't matter if somebody from the Russian Navy loves Ukraine and blew their own ship up. It doesn't matter. We now know the ship's on the bottom of the Black Sea, and we waited.
Yeah.
We waited. It's been a story unfolding for almost 2 days. So we know now the ship's on the bottom of the Black Sea, and that's a big deal.
Yes, and it's a big deal. There is a lot of let's say reaction and comments in Russia. You see, I mean, I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy not about the people died there, but I want for Russian would stop killing our people, and this is the war, and they're our enemies, and this is not we were choosing. We have no choice. So during the battle, yes, I'm happy when our guys
have a victory.
having victories.
Absolutely.
Yes, and this is the only way we will survive in that situation.
We have listened to Zelensky. I played a 6-minute speech he gave last night, just talking into the iPhone, and it was very powerful, very moving. We've heard from Orestovich. We've heard from Podolyak. We've heard from everybody that, and even the presidents of other nations, even from Vladimir Putin, negotiations right now are at a dead end. I quote Putin and even the Ukrainian leadership. Unless a miracle happens, which we believe in miracles, this war is going to continue and get worse. So this having a victory feels good. Let's just say that. How about that?
Yes, because I did pray, and I do pray for our soldiers. I do pray for our freedom. I do pray for our victory, because we are protecting ourselves. We are not invaders. There is aggressor. We are not aggressor. We fight for our lives, for our land, and yes, I do pray and I'm happy every time when I hear that we have the answer. And yes, I can say it like this, that I do pray for our guys will act the best ways. Our
Hmm.
soldiers,
Sure.
our officers, our politics, our pastors, or I mean the guys who serving or with the I mean as a pastors as a spiritual leaders there in army.
Listen, war happens. It's happened
Yes.
throughout the history of humanity. The last time
Mm-hmm.
I checked, the Bible is full of war. I'm just I'm just saying, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine is defending itself. And for anybody watching tonight, a lot of people from America, Canada, Philippines, different countries. We even have people in Africa that watch. New Zealand, we have new viewers in New Zealand. If your country was being attacked, you would probably be saying the same thing that Zhenya is saying tonight. And it's just honorable to defend your land. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, one of the things we're seeing, Zhenya, is there has been, I know of at least 2 today, maybe 3 strikes on Russian territory. And
Mm-hmm.
everything I'm seeing is it's provocation, meaning most guys, and I'm not saying official, I'm not showing video, nothing yet, but most are saying at this point that it's even Russia attacking themselves to make it appear that Ukraine is attacking on Russian soil. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about is this. I think it was Podolyak who came out. It might have been Kaleba. Actually, I think it was Kaleba who came out today and said, if it's okay for Russia to renew strikes against Kyiv, why is it not okay for us to attack Moscow? He made a very strong, it was one of those guys, made a very strong statement in regard to that. It's like the world and even Russia, well, specifically Russia, but then even other nations are going, okay, it's okay for Russia to attack on Ukrainian territory. But as
Mm-hmm.
soon as we hear about Ukraine potentially attacking on Russian territory, everything changes. That's why we talked tonight about fact or fiction. This war right now is getting to the point where you really have to start digging deep in the information to figure out what's truth or not. But the reality is, Ukraine has a right to defend its territory. Period.
Yes, and in this situation when it's like okay, there is somebody from the other side of the wall throwing the stones. Yeah, sure, you can try to avoid of being hit by the stone, or you can catch that guy and stop him there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you asking him, you're trying to catch the stones, or I don't know, maybe you have baseball, and you just uh, you know uh, like protecting yourself, but in with the time you understand there is no one like who is who can try, who is trying to hear you, his idea to kill you, and then you need to stop him, that's it.
That's correct.
And
And that's where you're getting to. I understand your allegory. What you're trying to communicate is this war is different because the enemy in this case is not really fighting fair.
yes.
They're going
Absolutely.
after civilian targets. They're going after women, children. They're deporting people to Russia. Right now in Mariupol, the people that are there have to wear the white ribbon. If they find them and don't kill them, they put a white ribbon on them, and they are being shipped out to Russia. It's just like World War II. This is not really army versus army, because for Russia, they're just indiscriminately attacking. And I even showed a video last night that was on the Russian Times channel in Russia that I got a hold of. Brother, Mariupol is destroyed. You know that, and I know that. But even being destroyed, the tanks are still going through and destroying it even more. Just moment by moment, just destroying everything. That's not warfare. That is trying to eliminate cities and people. And let's call it what it is. It's evil. It's evil.
Absolutely, and this is not. This war is much worse than the World War II. Why? Because at first, other nations and countries, they know the story, and they can compare and recognize the spirit and the character and motives and so on of the aggressor. It's like it's not a surprise. It's even worse. Plus, why it worse? That there is a threat of nuclear war, let's say, but this is why it's worse that Ukraine doesn't have the nuclear weapon. And a lot of countries helping, but they're trying to be politically correct, and every other country are trying to save their own interest, including financial interest, including not losing economic any percent, trying to save money more than to stop aggressor, which is much worse than Hitler.
That is why we wait to give our updates, because you're exactly right. You'll see like a headline on the news, for example, whichever one you like. We really do not share each night here news headlines. We're getting news from inside Ukraine. Then we create the graphics, create the pictures. It's not a reporter looking at something, writing about it. We're waiting for the facts, and we try to give them very accurately. And many times we're a day ahead of the news, and that's good. But a lot of the headlines that are written are not accurate, because yes, nations are helping. Yes, they're sanctioning. Yes, they are sending some arms. But Zhenya, right now, Russia is trying to compile in the East 5 soldiers for every 1 Ukrainian soldier. That's what the new general is doing. And he's pushing the troops in. Just a little while ago, I got an alert on my phone from all the things you've got me connected to. Every oblast in Ukraine, all at one time, was under air raid. And I don't think people understand, if this isn't stopped, what's getting ready to unfold in the South and the East. We keep talking about it. There are reasons that Kyiv said specifically, If you can get out of those areas, get out of those areas. We've got to win the war. We'll retake the areas, but they're coming. I'm really proud of Ukraine, and they're doing an amazing job. But if we do not get these heavy weapons there quick, Zelensky himself said, we don't need them in weeks. We need them in days. It's gonna be a challenge. Let's say it that way. There's a lot loaded right now on the East and the South.
Yes, because okay, Russia was preparing to destroy Ukraine and kill people over the years.
For decades,
So
actually, yes.
Yes. So and we were thinking that maybe some countries who was guaranteeing our like safety, let's say, our protection because of Budapest Memorandum.
Yes.
They will remember their promises, let's say, and when it didn't work, it's unfair situation. Then someone, big aggressor country, one of the, biggest,
Yes.
was preparing the years, taking all the missiles, gathering all the guns, all the tanks, everything, and the country who was counting on other country when we were, let's say, living and destroying our nuclear weapons, and we were not preparing for this situation. And
Well-
yes, this is, I believe, this is why it's absolutely no delaying, and it's absolutely logically that we're asking, hey, it's just unfair. Like, help us, please. And
Correct.
surely we're thankful for any help.
Yes.
And we would not survive with that help. 50 days. And absolutely. Without javelins, without everything.
Agreed.
Not possible.
It would have already been
But-
over.
At this moment, when they're preparing to unleash everything,
Yes.
it will not help.
Well, Zhenya,
for us.
this is my opinion. Let me ask you this question. All right, because a lot of
Okay.
people don't know, because up until this time, there's still people in the world did not even know where Ukraine was, you've seen the
Yeah.
jokes out there, and now everybody knows where Ukraine is. But there was a time in Ukraine's history where you guys had nuclear weapons,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of.
A lot of. And you gave them all up
Mm-hmm.
with the agreements for security protection. That's the bottom line.
Yes.
So
And
now
a lot of it. Mm-hmm.
the deterrent that you guys had to protect your borders, you gave away. That nuclear, hey, we're nuclear, right? You gave it away in exchange for other nations saying, if anything ever happens, because you gave your nuclears up, we'll be there to take care of you. This is what we're talking about right now. And I personally think the day the last nuclear weapon left Ukraine or was destroyed is day one Russia started planning for this. That's what I think.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm aware that I'm not a professional, specialist, let's say, or I'm just a Ukrainian I'm Christian. I'm just a citizen of my city and my country, and this is the way I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's easy to understand. I mean, my position and my thoughts. I do believe that God answers our prayer, my prayer, and He answers different ways. And one of the ways, and He can do this miracle
Yes.
to open the eyes. People, I mean, we pray, open the eyes of my heart. Okay,
Wykryją serce moho, Bog. Wykryją
yes,
serce moho.
and we can pray for God would open eyes of other people to see the evil and to see possibility, or let's say, yes, ability to do something, to protect, to stop it.
Yes. Today,
That's
um, you know, Medvedev came out and said, okay, we're putting nuclear weapons up on the border by Finland. We knew it was going to happen the moment Finland said we're going. And then Finland said, okay, well, we have 280,000 members of our military and they're good and we're going to get them ready. You just see the pot stirring. And Jenya, it only takes one mistake for a lot of Europe to be in war at the same time. It's extremely close. I don't say that to say that's going to happen, but I say that tonight to say this: fact or fiction? Here's a fact. Putin must be defeated. Period. That's
absolutely.
it. There is no other option. There is, okay, take your tanks and go home and we'll find a way to be happy friends. No. This man needs to be defeated. It's simple.
Normal, I mean, just usual people say. And today I got one of that feedbacks from our friend from Lithuania. It says, you don't imagine how we wish for you to conquer and how we thankful because we have no chance with our size of our army. And I got principally the same thanks from one of the German friends, the brothers. He said, thank you. It's probably unfair, but you protect us, Germany.
Jacob,
Um,
we've talked a lot about how small Ukraine is in relation to Russia or in relation to the United States. But on the European scale, Ukraine's a big nation. And number two,
yes.
very large nation in population, 40 million plus. Now, 25% are refugees now, but whether inside or outside, but it's a big nation in those senses. For example, if this was Moldova, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, even some of these other nations that are supposed to be strong, Russia would steamroll them pretty quick without NATO intervention. It would be much different than Ukraine. So yes, the world is thankful, but you know what? And this is where I want to end it because you need to get some sleep, but you've been up 2 days. The world is thankful, but here's my opinion. That's not fair. It's not fair and it's not right that Ukraine has to sacrifice to defend Europe and to defend the world from this Russian aggression. The world needs to step up, stand up, get beyond the economics, get beyond the military fears, get beyond the fears of Putin pushing a nuclear button. He can push a nuclear button whether you're in war or not. Don't worry about it. The world needs to come together. Ukraine is not the sacrificial lamb. There's only one sacrificial lamb. That is Jesus, whom we celebrate this weekend for Easter, Resurrection Sunday here in the United States. That's the only sacrificial lamb. We need to stand together, stand up against evil, do what is right, and put down this evil. That's it. It's not fair. It's not fair that we're just allowing Eastern Ukraine to be erased. And then we say, thank you for protecting us. Baloney. That's not right. My opinion. Not right. We need to jump in.
Not right.
We need to jump in and end this. Period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today, I will come back to our start.
Yes.
This basically 2 days of driving. I was spending your money for the gas.
Everybody's money that's giving to this project.
Yes, I was buying the fuel. I was paying insurance to take this car out. I was paying for the food of the driver. I was paying for other stuff to have this trip, and we were renting the bus because we needed special cargo bus, like cargo van, truck. Okay, and thank you very much. You made it possible to take this humanitarian aid from Poland to Ukraine, and then I will buy more fuel. It will go to the east, to our soldiers, to people who stayed there, people who are in needs. It will go to some places where adult needs diapers and where the baby needs diapers, where people need food, and etc. etc. So thank you very much to make it possible and to help and to stay with us.
Adna Komanda. One team.
One team.
One team.
One team.
Adna Semya.
One family.
That's it. Bud, we love you. I know you're exhausted. Get some rest. Get some sleep. There's your heart. Let me put a cheer on that. Man's been up for 2 days and he's still here. And honestly, this is just a very few minutes before going live. So this is about as live as it gets. We love you, buddy. Check on you tomorrow.
See you soon. Bye.
Hey, by the way, the #1 ship in the Russian Navy is on the bottom of the Black Sea. Slava Bogu, Slava Ukraina, Geroim Slava.
No, yeah, it's a good. I mean, it's a good to remind it before I go sleep.
Yes, now you can be reminded and you can smile a little bit. All right, buddy, we love you.
Okay.
Good night. Folks, there you have it. Thank you tonight. That is up to the minute. Jania did a fantastic job. And thank you guys for all being here, being a part of this. It's really exciting. You know, you get the updates and you get to see really what's happening inside Ukraine every 24 hours, every 23 hours when we start. And it's also nice to hear back and see that the money that is being donated, that you have sowed into Ukraine, that you were a part of this, is on the ground, literally 24/7, making a difference. Thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, continuing on that Applebee's a week meal. And we're very thankful to you all. You can continue to give at blwc.org. And we will be back in 23 hours No fiction here, only facts. May God bless you, and God bless Ukraine. Good night.